Hey there, Nopenguin here, and we are back. We are back with the furry deck. It's fur hire time, baby. Let's go! About 10 months ago, I created my first fur hire deck for this channel, and it aimed to be the most furry deck possible. It was Tri-Brigade Fur Hire, and I thought that was the end of it. I thought I would never touch this deck again. That was until Konami released some new support that potentially makes the deck playable. So I shall put my cat ears back on and face the world once more. This is Nopenguin, and here is my deck, Fur Hire. And here is the list. This is a pure Fur Hire deck, and really the idea is just to try to make the most use out of Fogel Justice Fur Hire. It's such an amazing card. We'll get into exactly what it does when we get there, but for now I just want to hop right into it. Yeah, let's get into the card by card. To start us off, we have 2 Raphael, Champion of Fur Hire. When this card is special summoned, you get to excavate cards from the top of your deck up to the amount of other Fur Hires you control. Grab any card, does not have to be a Fur Hire card, to your hand and then shuffle the rest back. Also, it has a monster negation if you discard a card for hire. Important to note that it does not destroy the card it negates, which is a bit of anti-synergy with Fogel, but I digress. Then we have Triple Parallel Exceed. This card is really easy to slot into the deck, and anytime we go for a Link Summon, we can just basically get 2 Parallel Exceeds out for either Baguska, Tornado Dragon, or even to use one of them for Volgo. Then we have Wiz, Sage for Hire. When special summoned, gain 500 life points for each monster for hire you control, but this is also the spell trap negate of the deck. Then we have 1 Sagata Maverick for hire. This burns you on summon, 500 for every one you control. It's pretty okay. Bravo Fighter for hire. From this point onwards, all of the fur hires except for the new one can special summon a fur hire once per turn from your hand. And on top of that, each fur hire has an effect when a monster fur hire other than itself is special summoned to the field. For example, when a monster for hire is summoned while Bravo is on the field, all your monsters for hire gain 500 attack. Really good for closing game. Next we have 2 Seal. When a monster for hire is summoned, you can target a monster for hire in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Then we have Beat, probably the best of the monster for hires. Like all the other ones, can special summon a for hire from hand, but of course, when a monster for hire is special summoned while this is on the field, you could just add any monster for hire from your deck to your hand. Next we have 1 Helmer Helmsman for hire. This one isn't really that good. When a monster for hire is summoned while it's on the field, discard a card for hire to draw 1 card. Helps ungunk hands if we draw too many of the big for hires, but not much to say other than that. Then we have 1 Recon Scout for hire and 2 Dampa Marksman for hire. These both basically have the same effect. When a monster for hire is summoned while they're on the field, Dampa will let you target a face-up card on the field, while Recon lets you target a set card on the field, destroy them. Now we have our new monster for hire, Rex Cargo for hire. When this is normal or special summoned, you get to add a spell trap for hire from your deck to your hand, and also during the main phase as a quick effect, if you control a monster for hire, you can banish this from the graveyard, target a card for hire in your graveyard. You can either add it to your hand, or if it's a monster, you could even special summon it. This is so much advantage off of this one card, and is a big reason why I'm so excited about this deck. Finally, we have 3 Philo Messenger for hire. When a monster for hire is special summoned while it's on the field, you basically get to Monster Reborn for hire, but the monster is put to the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. Then we have our hand trap lineup, so you have triple Ash Blossom, triple Ghost Ogre, and triple Effect Veiler. Now, notably, I am not playing Infinite Impermanence in this deck. That is because I am expecting to draw these cards off of our Fogel for hire, as it will let me basically draw 3 cards during the opponent's turn. And if I draw an Infib while I have an established board, it's really not going to do anything, so I wanted to max out on good hand traps that work from the hand. Veiler being Infinite Impermanence enough, Ash Blossom being pretty much the best hand trap in the game, but Ghost Ogre has some interesting synergy, because you get your Fogel effect off to draw 3 once you destroy an opponent's card by battle or card effect. So if you Ghost Ogre their monster, you can then Fogel to draw 3 cards to refill your hand and hopefully get your other 2 hand traps. Then we have 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Beat is a warrior, so this is like the 4th copy of that. Double Pot of Desires. There's no real harm in banishing 10 for this card. All of the cards that you really want to see are playing at more than 1, and the ones you are playing at 1 are really situational, and you can deal losing access to them if that means you get a +1. Then we have 1 Reasoning. This has almost every level from 1 to 8, so it is extremely hard for your opponent to guess this correctly. Then we have one monster reborn. Hand traps still hurt this deck, not as much as they did before, but if they are able to disrupt and get a monster off of your board, monster reborn is a great way to bring it back and continue the plays. One Call by the Grave. We don't like hand traps. Finally, we have our spells for hire. We have triple rookie for hire. You can tribute a monster, special summon a monster for hire from your hand or deck whose level is exactly 1 higher or lower than the attributed monster, but you cannot declare attacks except with monsters for hire for the rest of the turn. This is great for dodging things like Veiler or Infinite Impermanence. On a similar note, we have triple mayhem for hire. This is a quick effect monster reborn, but you can only special summon the monster in defense position. I'm playing both of them at 3 because I really want to see one, if not both of these, each and every game. But with that is the end of the main deck. Yeah. Let's get into the extra. Starts off, we have one Link Karibo, then we have IP Masquerena, a card that is really good for this deck actually. You end up having a lot of extra materials, and you can either invest that in doing an IP into Unicorn line or setting up an Appaloosa. Then we have one Halka Fibrax for the Halk Celine access code line. Of course, you'll have to normal summon one of your hand traps to do this, but it's here regardless. Then we have two Donna Dagger for hire. This card is actually insane and probably the better of the two support we got. It has 2 effects, but you can only use one of them per turn. Its first effect is you can target a monster for hire you control and a monster your opponent controls and destroy them. This of course will trigger the Fogo's effect, allowing you to +3. Its other effect is to contribute a monster you control, including itself, to special summon a monster for hire with a different original name from your hand or graveyard. Then, if you tributed a Link monster, aka itself, you can special summon a second such monster. This is great for situations where you've ended your for hire chain with something like a Raphael or a Rex, but you have an extra for hire in hand, so you can special summon it from your hand and continue your chain that way, all while still keeping material to go into the Fogo. Next we have Tri-Brigade for Jeet. Next we have Celine for the Celine access code line, one Nightmare Unicorn, our go-to target for IP Masquerena, 2 Fogo Justice for hire. This is our boss monster of the deck, and he is absolutely a house. And a sexy house at that, yeah. Any 3 monsters with different types. It cannot be used as link material, so unfortunately you can't go into Fogo and then access code in off of that, but whatever. If the card is link summoned, you can special summon a monster for hire with a different type than the 3 monsters used for the link summon from your deck. This is great for ending your board off with either your Raphael or your Wiz, as the other monster for hires you have don't share any of those types. But my favorite effect of the 2 is if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw a card. But if you control 3 or more monsters for hire, which is very often you do, draw 2 additional cards. So during your opponent's turn, you either Ghost Ogre them, Tornado Dragon something, pop something with Dampa or Recon, and Fogo will just allow you to draw 3, which again, in most cases, we hope is going to be our hand traps. Then we have our rank 4s. We have Appaloosa, access code, and 1 Tri-Brigade Shrek. Finally, we have our Xyz, 1 Baguska. Every other card in the extra deck is a Link monster, and if we're not going to be ending on one of our monster for hire negates, this is great to lock down the opponent's non-Link monsters. Then 1 Tornado Dragon. This is purely in here as just an enabler for Fogo. You want to go into this, and if your opponent activates a spell or trap, you can pop it with the Tornado Dragon. Even if it doesn't do anything by destroying it, Fogo will then be able to do the draw 3. But with that, let's get into the replays. Yeah. Our first replay is up against Live Twin. Luckily, I do get to go first. I am going to dump it here, special summon the Wiz. Wiz will gain us a little bit of life points, and we'll rookie for hire, getting us over our beat. Beat will activate its effect, summoning Recon. Because we summoned it, we can go ahead and add a monster for hire from deck, then special summon the Raphael. Raphael will let us look at the top 3 cards of our deck and grab any one of them. I go ahead and grab the Parallel Xyz, go into the Fogo, Fogo effect, Parallel Xyz, chain. Fogo will go ahead and special summon out Rex. Rex will get us in a search. Parallel Xyz will grab us another Parallel Xyz. We will grab the Mayhem for hire. We will use it, grab Wiz back from the graveyard. That way we have both of our negates still up. We are going to use Donna, grab back the Wiz so we can end on that negate, have the beat there, use the effect to add this back to hand so we have a discard fodder for our Wiz or our Raphael. They'll Kill, I'll Veiler here, they'll Call by the Grave, and I'm going to use Wiz here to actually negate it, and the Tornado Dragon to pop it, so on resolution I can draw 3 cards. Hoping for a for hire draw so I can get Raphael, but didn't matter, he just set 1 pass. I start my turn here. I'm just going to use Beat's effect, special summon Feel to get a search. We'll go ahead and search up Bravo because I'm looking to go for a game here. We'll use Feel here, get Wiz back. Wiz's effect will go ahead and get 2,000. We'll use Donna to try to pop his monsters. Get Fogo effect off the draw 3. They will try to destroy it. Wiz will negate that Dino Mishkas. We will get the draw 3. attack at Rex. Rex will go ahead and add ourselves Mayhem for Hire. We'll go Selene. Selene get the things. Go into Access Code. Access Code gain all the attack. Then we'll attack with Access Code and Raphael for game. Our final replay is up against Branded Dark World. I have a really shit hand, but luckily they have 3 Dark World dealings and they're going to make good use of that. They're going to Brand a Fusion going into Lebellion. Lebellion pitch the card to go into Mirror Jade. Dark World dealings, hoping for something. They'll pitch the Dark World dealings into discarding their hand, and they've basically completely ungunked my hand. I'm going to reason here. They will call 3 and they'll miss. We get the Rex. Rex is going to go ahead and add us our Recon for Hire. We're going to use the Pot of Desires, draw 2, go for Philo. Philo activates effect to grab Raphael. Raphael lets us go from search for 3. They'll try to Mirror Jade here, but I have the Raphael so I can actually negate that effect. Then we'll go ahead and look at the top 3 cards of our deck and we will grab. We're just going to go ahead and grab that. Then we'll go ahead, burn them for 1500, go into Donna, Parallel Seas, and they actually just surrender. They realize that there is nothing they can do. From here, we would have just used Donna's effect to pop the Mirror Jade, then go into our Fogo, go into all of our big combo extenders, and really just attack for a game. They only had 6500 attack. They saw the writing on the wall, and they left. Yeah. And that is the replays. I only had a couple because I really wanted to get this video out as soon as I can, but I hope this replay illustrated just how the new support supports the deck and makes it just a bit better. Who knows, maybe even playable. But before I continue singing the praises of my furry bays, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is still very susceptible to hand traps, especially those of effect negation. While we do have tools to mitigate and otherwise play around that, it's still a big linchpin of the deck, and it really hurts whenever they get veilered, infibbed, or really even just working into established boards. I think if the deck gets just a couple more pieces of support, maybe even some new spell trap for hires, this could become a really decent contender, because what the deck can do already is pretty strong in and of itself. But with that, that is the end of the video. Like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more, and you knew it was coming. For those of you who saw my last For Hire deck, you saw what I did. And I decided, with For Hire's wonderful return, why not do a new rendition of that rap? Let's do this. Rawr! X-Ray Nuzzles pounces on you, ooh, you so warm. Couldn't help but notice your bulge from across the floor. Nozzles your necky wacky to do Matilda hee hee. Unzips your baggiest pants with baby you so musky. Take me home, pet me and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me. See me wag my little baby tail for your bulgy wodgy. Kisses and lickies your neck. I hope daddy like his nuzzles and wuzzles your chest. I be getting thirsty. Hey, I got a little itch. Do you think you can help me? Only 7 inches long. Ooh, please adopt me. Pause on your bulge as I lick my lips. Ooh, punish me. But to hit him with this furry shit. They don't see it coming. I am such a fucking degenerate.